baby! Back and acting better than ever. To farm some soy milk, drinking guppies in the ground, and the greasy little piglets they are. So I'm back for another video. So the Trumpy Baba and the Salvadorian president are back and acting better than ever, having the fiesta of a lifetime in the Oval Office, and they are, of course, getting hounded by the fake news media about the deportation of the MS-13 gang member, who, of course, the fake news media want in the United States because they want to cause terror and destroy the United States from within. And the Trumpy Baba, El Salvadorian president, and the Trumpy Baba staff absolutely eliminate them, the fake news media. So let's watch it and react. Legendary.
The man who your administration says was mistakenly deported. The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well,
Mistakenly. He wasn't mistakenly.
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country.
Yep.
He had been illegally in our country. And in
Marco Rubio's gotten tubbier than ever. Little Rubio.
2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork that needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters.
The media is so mad.
If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
But we just deport him again because he's illegal.
You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Trumpy Baba loves the hot blondes.
Because, you know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant, because they're totally slanted, because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned,
True one.
there's an illegal alien from El Salvador.
This guy destroys them. He's reflecting the light of 1,000 suns off his bald head, blinding the evil media and his demented foes.
So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens.
He destroys them.
And two immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States. And
This guy explains it so well, he's got to be like the top lawyer in the country. John Adams is looking down upon him with a great smile. Trumpy Baba, look at the Oval Office, how sick it looks now. Look at this. Like, he actually decked it out in Trump fashion.
had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously.
Even the liberal judges.
That neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world. I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan to ask for
Supreme
anything
Court's
to get it
asking
back?
to, and what's the ruling in the Supreme Court?
So basically what he said is, the guy was a gang member. He was illegal in the first place. We deported him. Some corrupt district judge said that he needed to come back. Then the Supreme Court ruled on it and said that you can't just take an El Salvadorian back once we deport him. Legendary.
Is it 9-0?
Yes, so it's a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States.
Only
As
the president can.
The ruling solely stated
I love
that
the
if
Trumpy
this
Baba,
individual at El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Yep.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador.
Yeah.
No questions about it per the court.
Back to El Salvador.
I asked President Bukele, can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well,
President Ukulele.
Bush was suggesting that a smuggle terrorists into the United States.
How often do you think
Oh
about your poop?
my
Now, some people
God.
think about their poop a lot.
Who hires
Others,
you?
Not so much. Did you know?
It's always
How can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or whether I do it first? I'm not
Trump's
sure.
just giving a smirk.
It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you can release him inside of Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists.
So not only is he not going back to the United States, he's rotting in a communist Salvadorian prison where the scum of the earth go to die and become a skeletal remains. This is beautiful. This is the greatest story.
Turn the murder capital of the world to the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? And that's not going to be.
Well, they'd love to have criminal,
Yeah, I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Mark, you
He goes, "These are sick people," and he can't stop himself from laughing. That was fucking legendary. Holy fuck.
I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't.
We should just put them in the middle of the ocean and leave them there.
Take people back in places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No.
Or send them to
foreign policy
Siberia
in the United States
to
is
suck the
conducted
juice from a
by
rotten
the
communist
United
potato.
States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
Little Rubio finally coming through for the Trumpy Baba. What a legendary press conference. Trumpy Baba shuts them down. El Salvadorian president's doing his little quips and destroying them. And then little Marco coming in to back them up like the Midgioto he is. Sexual Pam Bondi there, sitting there like a delightful vixen. And then we got this other brooding vixen, governor of some state. That was amazing. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And with that, the maestro never gives up.